I don't think I realized the impact, the tough impact, the negative impact that some of what happened in the service, had with me. And again, I'm very open to the fact I was not in an unsafe place, or anything like that. But there is the piece of, sort of being picked up, deployed somewhere away from the family. And then, there's just taking care of the people that were coming in, from Balad, Iraq, the people who weren't bad enough to go back home on the airplane, but were we going to rehab them? And then even just seeing some of the mental health aspect of war was, really significant. So, everything from if someone tried to jump off their ship into the Navy in the Gulf to try to take their life, we would take care of them until they could get out. And then we had members of our own team. The first night I was in the desert, one of the nurses who was going back home, um, because I was the chief of staff, I had overlap with the old crew. So I came in before everybody, all the new crew came in, and I heard screaming in the room next to me. And I came out, and she had attempted suicide, cut both of her wrists all the way through, because she was facing going back home to a domestic situation that had fallen apart. And she was about ready to go back home. And so that, and yeah. And so I didn't deal with any of that. Cause if you're, I don't know what it was like when you were coming back from deployment, but when we were coming back, you had to fill out this checklist that essentially, said, are you having mental health stuff? Are you anxious? Are you losing sleep? Are you having bad memories? Blah, blah, all the PTSD stuff. And everybody, at least on my team, we all checked it no, because if you checked it yes,
You have to stay longer.
you stay longer.
Yeah.
Your ticket gets popped and you have to go talk to the psychiatrist. I was like, not doing that. Um, so I stuffed it, I used to call it pridefully, put it in the box. I just put it in the box, and I'm sorry for that graphic story, but that
No,
one's in
it's
my box, right?
yeah,
It's
no,
in
I
there.
I totally
Um,
get it.
yeah. And we do that a lot as doctors too. We just see a lot of really hard stuff, like a lot of really hard stuff. And
Mhm.
we do it. But I don't know that I understood the part of the veteran piece and that piece and the wartime piece. And, there were suicides in my group, like I don't know that all of that I'd sort of dealt with when I came out. And it was interesting. There was a part of being a part of that team in the military that was therapeutic, and you lose that when you come out. So, and I think this is why people join like the VFW or, different like associations, so they can go and have some beer and talk about this stuff when they're
Because
become
people can
civilians.
validate your experience.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I did, that part of me, I didn't realize it until later, but it was a bit difficult. I found it was very hard to connect with my colleagues who didn't have that shared experience with me. I definitely felt like kind of a fish out of water in that way. I didn't act like it. I mean, people wouldn't have known, very socially, like I like
Yeah.
people and all that, but it definitely felt that way.
How did you start working through your box
Yeah.
essentially and build up the mental tools and the fortitude to actually kind of unpack those very serious things that you've experienced, and also get to a point of self-understanding where you're able to talk about it.
Well, no, I'll just tell you the truth. I did.
Okay.
What I did is I took on more tasks and I took on more responsibility, and I pushed and I pushed and I pushed and I pushed. And frankly, it was fine. I think probably just like a career military person, right? What I didn't know is I'm definitely addicted to the adrenaline. I like challenges. I like when things actually go awry a little bit, because I like jumping in and getting it done with that. And so I just continued to create, as I became more expert in the doctoring piece here and the system. I just kept kind of looking for that space to recreate my chaos, so that I could feel normal with it. And then the sense of people depending on me, like the military team, I kind of recreated that and saying yes to more leadership stuff. Um, and honestly, I don't know that I really dealt with it until the pandemic, where I hit my mental health wall with all kinds of, drama and glory finally. And that's what actually forced me to begin, um, actually recognizing there was a box, and that in not dealing with it, I'd actually been, I think creating a lot of my own duress and, having an impact on my family longer term too. I mean, I wasn't like unsafe at home or anything like that. I wasn't, and, no judgment to anybody who's had stuff with that, but, I just was a workaholic. And, so being home for my kids, I was deployed here essentially.